My name is Joy. I'm a baker and an entrepreneur. I have been baking like for 6 years right now. My passion in baking began when I was young, so young. From the love of cooking. So I enjoyed cooking and exploring. Out of curiosity of cooking, I began the passion of baking, and I went and learned about baking. I've not only done baking, I have a bachelor's of degree in public administration and leadership. I did it in JKUAT. That's where I really joined the baking business when I was in my campus. You know, nataka do, kama comrade, you want to survive and also to help your parents. And with that, I began my baking business. I talked to my parents, walinipatia capital ya kwanzia, and wakanisaidia kubuy some stuff that I needed, the most important stuff that I needed for my baking business. Back then, it was when I began baking, I went to it was immediately after I completed my Form 4, so I was only 18 years, turning 19. So I went to a college. They were offering a short course. So before I joined campus, I went for the short course. Nika learned the skill of baking. I learned also some pastries there. And so like pizzas, puff pastries, all those. But I got interested more in baking because of the demand. Mostly in our country is about cakes, mostly because of the events. And then I went to an individual. Akanifunza kwanzia hii biashara ya baking, kanifunza how to measure my ingredients, how to start it well, and from there I began baking. Hata nikiwa campus nilikuwa na sasa there nilipata mostly like juu ninajua kudecorate. I would show them that I know cakes, and they started ordering, my classmates, my friends and family members, and with that ikaanza tu pole pole, and I started baking.
In a world where passion meets flair and dreams rise like dough, Joy has carved out a sweet space for herself in the baking world. For the past 6 years, she's been whisking, kneading, and frosting her way into the hearts of her customers, one cake at a time.
So in my year one, at first nilikuwa naenda home every weekend kwenda kubake from there. Then the more demand ilienda ikiwa high, nikaongea na wazazi hapo, ndo wakanipatia startup. At first there was an event in school ya a business expo, and hiyo point I needed many cakes ndo niweke kwa display in the pavilion, in the school pavilion. So nikauzia wasee hiyo time, na hiyo ndo ilikuwa first time nilipeleka vitu zangu huko in where I used to stay. And hiyo period I got support system from a classmate alikuwa in the school leadership, so I began selling there in that pavilion, and hapo ndipo niliweza kujimarket sana at that particular time. Actually between school mimi watu walikuwa wafikiria sitamaliza shule juu already nilikuwa nimeingia kwa biz kabisa, and wako like, utaweza kumaliza shule? And I was like, ni lazima, because I felt my degree was important, because I learned marketing, networking there, and my degree somehow is associated with managing a business. So there were marketing units, and they really helped me even to manage social media's account.
Growth doesn't always mean moving up. Sometimes it means returning to your roots with a bigger vision. And with that shift came a new purpose: teaching. Today, she's shaping futures.
I needed to move from my bed sitter to a one bedroom. So I moved to a one bedroom where nili expand because of this baking business ndo niweze kumanage. But after like a year and a half, nikarudi home, that is this year. And I want to expand more. Due to that, I needed just to relocate kidogo. And with that, nimeanza baking classes. I had been teaching people, individuals peke yake. Nilikuwa nafunza watu individually, maybe naenda kwake ama nakuja kwangu. But ikafika mahali, like the demand iko high, so I need a bigger venue to start teaching people in a big forum. Challenges ni mingi, isipokuwa ya stima utapata na client mwenye ako rude ama anataka a certain thing but ni impossible namwambia hiyo kitu haipatikani Kenya. Ama anataka design but hataki kufika bei. Unapatana na vitu kama hizo. The other thing ni kupata ingredients zimepanda, so you have to hike your prices. Na kuna ile uoga ya, will I lose my clients because my prices are up now. Unaweza patana na mayai iko na shida and say ushabai, maybe huwezi rudisha such things, ama umeorder vitu zimekosa kufika, zimekuwa delayed. Pia last minute clients anakupigia asubuhi nataka keki by leo. Wewe unaona uko free, unaweza manage kupika hiyo keki. But in the real sense hauwezi make kutengeneza hiyo keki, maybe stima ipotee ama hizo inconveniences zi happen.
Not all cakes are made the same. Each one has its own ingredients, its own processes, and its own personality. Baking is an art that goes far beyond simply mixing and tossing butter into an oven. Today, Joy walks us through the magic of making a marble cake.
When it comes to cakes, we use different ingredients, different processes to make a cake, or mixing of a cake is different. There are different types of mixing. There are sponge cakes, there are simple cakes, there are marble cakes. And today we are going to do a marble cake, a cake with 2 flavors. So you can learn a little bit of baking. And keki si tu watu wanafikirianga una mix unaweka kwa oven inatoka ikiwa decorated. You have to mix, uweke kwa oven, then ikipoa you decorate. So it has different steps and different ways of making a cake. There are different types of creams. There is whipped cream, there's buttercream, there's fondant, whichever preference of your client. Fondant is good for art, maybe mostly unapata kama wedding cakes, wanahitaji fondant because ina make the flowers, ina make different designs kama kiondo, unapata kuna the calabash and different designs of cakes. Like I had mentioned, in baking a cake, you need different ingredients to complete a cake, and every ingredient is important in making of a cake. And so these are some of the ingredients that you are going to use in making a marble cake. So we are definitely going to, it is important to measure your ingredients for you to get for balancing the ingredients. That's why it is important to measure your ingredients. For this is butter. It is important in a cake. It gives the cake a stability and moistens the cake. It is the one that gives the cake the oily texture in a cake. So you need butter. The other thing you need is sugar. Definitely for cake, you can't do without sugar. It's important for you to measure your ingredients in every way. Hata kama unapika keki ya home, ni very important you measure your ingredients ndo uweze kutoa a very good texture ya keki. What I can tell you for sure, if you don't have maybe all these vitu za kupima, naweza kufunza a simple way of kupima. For example, if I need flour, a certain cake, I can use this container to make two measurements, ama 2 measurements ya hii plate ama ni bowl. You can use this to measure. Then sugar and margarine should be half that flour, and your liquids, that is eggs and milk, should be slightly almost the same with the flour. Ama ikipita ipite kidogo ndo upate a very moist cake. So we are going to use eggs as well. And sometimes you may ask, why am I measuring eggs? A basic, what I can tell you, a basic size of an egg, it should weigh like 50 grams in baking. But ikipita, so ndo ku avoid ipite, unapata kuna mayai zenye ni kubwa na kuna zenye ni ndogo. With that, with me measuring my ingredients, I'm able to know that the kind of eggs that I need or the amount I need. In the method that you're going to use inaitwa creaming method. It is for mixing butter with sugar. And it is important how you mix your cake for you to get good results. The more you mix your butter and margarine and the softer texture you have, the higher the volume of the cake will be, because it will be easier for the baking powder to raise your ingredients or the butter. So your eggs are important as well, because it gives keki ishikane. Hii ni kama glue ya all the ingredients. This is a mixer. For those who don't know a mixer, hii ndo huwa inanisaidia kumix my ingredients. However, if you are just a starting baker, unaweza tumia tu mwiko na bowl. That's how I started. Ndo pata pesa za kununua your mixer. For this is so efficient, juu na make the ingredients much softer, but ukianzia kubake, there is no harm kwa kutumia mwiko and everything. You're going to see it in our class, how we teach our students. They don't have to have big machines for them to bake.
A great cake starts long before it hits the oven. It begins with intention, the careful preparation of ingredients and the choice of method. From greasing and flouring to mixing with precision, every step matters. Because in baking, the magic is in the details.
So for now, we are going to connect the margarine. So it's important to prepare your baking tins. Tunaipaka margarine ndo isishike, keki isishike. But however, unafaa dust unga ama flour ndo keki isishike chini. When you're done, your tin is supposed to look like this ndo keki isishike. Reason sijajaza ni juu sieki mixture kwa the whole cake. The other thing, kuna different methods za kugrease ama kuprepare your baking tin. Kuna watu wanatumia grease proof, kuna watu wanatumia Calyx. It's something that you just spray, unaweka your mixer in your mixture here, so unapata haitashika chini. It's good to keep checking on your texture ndo ujue the consistency ya keki. Bado ninaona my butter imeshikana kidogo. As you can know, kuna baridi, so you have to wacha iendelee kumix ikwe softer kiasi. When your butter is softer, it's ready to add your sugar. Ishakuwa soft, so it's easy to mix with the sugar. Importance ya keki kukua well mixed, itafura vizuri kwa sababu ya baking powder kuinua. So I've added my sugar. I can say baking is therapeutic kwa sababu ukibake una have fun and inaweza pia kutolea stress ulikuwa nazo maybe somewhere else. Only that sometimes ni tiring kama kazi ni mingi, you have many orders, but it's something you are enjoying doing. However, una engage your brain, it's still like relaxing, kuona venye keki imechange, mixtures zikichange from one thing to the other. By the end of this, najua utaona sukari kiwa something different na margarine peke yake. So the mixture is smooth, ishakuwa ready. And as you can see, ishakuwa soft kuliko where we started. Like iko much better. Egg ni kama glue, ina mix the whole mixture vizuri. Inaifanya ikwe na inapea keki the hard texture kiasi in a way. Tunaweka kidogo kidogo juu texture ya mayai ni different na hapa kuna margarine na sugar, so we have to put bit by bit, na plus tunataka keki ikwe na very a good volume. Haya, another challenge in baking, you see the mixer is so noisy, and sometimes uko na keki mingi ama whole wedding una mix for maybe long hours, so the noise can be so irritating, like unaweza anza kumona kichwa. So that is one of another challenge that maybe I don't enjoy, the noise, but it's therapeutic kuona the whole mixture ikiturn. So as this is going on, I'm going to measure my flour. So I'm sieving because to aerate the dough, However, you're going to see there are some lumps zinakwanga kwa unga, so I'm aerating it. So unaona vitu kama hizo, they are not good for the flour. Flour ikwangi clean kabisa, and cake tunataka itoke perfectly. Remember, it's important to measure your ingredients so that you can have a good consistency. Na pia juu ya biashara, you are able to know what amount unatumia ndio uweze kufanya a good cost of production. Ukifanya cost of production, ingredients zako utaweza kujua what quantities used na price of every ingredient. That's why it is important you come for our classes. You're going to learn everything, how you can mix a cake, what does the flour has in the effect of the cake, what is putting a lot of margarine has, what effects ziko after umeka margarine mingi ama umeka sukari mob kwa keki. So it is important you come for a class if you want to bake professionally for your business, and so that you can know how you can start your own business in baking. We're having a good mix. Wacha ni kwanza kumix kidogo. So here we're going to add milk alternatively with the flour. So nitaweka kidogo kidogo ndio isikuwe na lumps. So cake inahitaji kumixia vizuri. So here we're going to give it a final beat for an easy consistency. I'll divide my mixture into two so that I can form two flavors. Many people think that baking you unakanda na mkono kama chapati, but you definitely don't use your hands anywhere. You only use mixtures. That's why I don't need the gloves. Many people wonder why tunekanga flavor. If hatungekuwa tuneka flavor kwa keki, ungekuwa tunasikia taste ya mayai peke yake, and maybe it can be irritating to some people. So if you want to bake and ukose kuweka flavor, itaonja tu mayai. If you want a bigger cake, a taller cake, you're going to use small tins kidogo ndo ikuwe heighty, but if unataka ikuwe splendid, you can just use a normal tin. Kuna different sizes za tins. Hii natumia inaitwa ni 7 inch. Ni 7 inch tin. So here we go. For marble cakes, we are putting 2 flavors in one tin. The reason I'm still measuring ni kupata equal measurements to both tins. Nikuwe na keki mbili zenye zinatoshana. And all this mixture totals to a 1 kg cake. Nagongesha ndo isettle down. You can be creative when it comes to marbling. Itoe flowers.
From a simple love for baking to shaping futures through teaching, Joy's journey reminds us that business is also about purpose. Every cake she bakes carries a story, and every class she teaches plants a seed of possibility.
Upcoming entrepreneurs and bakers, if you want to put your heart into something, you can make just a beautiful cake like this. This is how art looks like.